Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Team Dare to Dream Dream Big call. And I'm really, really excited about our guest speaker tonight. Real quick, I posted something in our group today, just a little bit ago, that's gotten everybody all a buzz, which is very, very exciting. Keep in mind that we are looking to engage with the coaches on our team that may feel like, you know, they aren't really quite sure to do, and they're really kind of afraid to raise their hand. So that post is designed to help people that really, really need to start their business. We're going to give them some tools to help them get started. All of you that are on this call most likely doesn't apply to you. So we've got resources for you guys that want to boost your business, right? That need to maybe have some accountability and things like that. So we've got all kinds of tools for you. So be sure to tag coaches on your team that need that kind of support. And, you know, again, they may have been kind of afraid. They may have felt like, well, I've been a coach for a while and I've never really done anything. And I feel kind of stupid now just saying I want to do it. This is our chance to help them say, it's okay, raise your hand. We're here for you. It's never too late to start. So that's what I wanted to mention there. But I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about anything on our team because we are very privileged to have our guest speaker here, Jolene Atkins. And I know I posted her bio in our team page, but I'm going to review that again because she is such an interesting person. And I'm telling you, she's like everything that I ever wanted to be when I grew up, except you're not a professional dancer, right? You're an actor.
I did musical theater, but... Well, yeah,
she's everything I wanted to be when I grew up. You know, she's a two-time elite. And I remember the first time I saw Jolene was at my first leadership. And I didn't actually meet her, but I remember sitting across from her and her family in the airport and just being fascinated. I don't know why, but even then I was just fascinated by you, and you had your two boys with you, and I was eavesdropping on your conversation. That's just the way I am. And Jolene is also a 5-star diamond coach. She's a certified lifestyle weight management specialist. So she really is a fitness and nutrition expert. She's a P90X and PIO Live certified instructor, a writer, actress, and director. She's also a weekly contributor to a health and wellness section of the Beaver County Times, just outside Pittsburgh. I know we have some people in your neck of the woods that were very excited to hear about that.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
It's really cool. She says Beachbody recently allowed her husband, a pastor of 16 years, to leave congregational ministry and open his own Christian counseling practice. And then they have 2 amazing children, 14 and 10, and they were much smaller when I saw them for the first time. Along with exercising, she is always reading. I mean, follow her on Goodreads. You're on Goodreads, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Follow her on Goodreads.
Yeah.
Lots of Goodreads to recommend. She says she's a redeemed coffee addict and she won't share popcorn with anyone. And I do share my popcorn.
Never.
I get a large at the movie theater and I'm afraid I'll if I don't share it. So, gosh. You paid off credit card debt, $14,000 in credit card debt with Beachbody, and you have also been in a Les Mills Pump infomercial.
Yes! I'm so sad we don't have it anymore, but
well, I still have it, and you still have it, so.
Yes.
All right. Well, Jolene is going to talk to us about a very compelling question, and her title was, Would You Hire You? So I'm going to let you take it from there, and I'll put you on speaker view.
It is so uncomfortable to hear someone read your bio. It's really uncomfortable. But you know the part that stood out for me tonight, because I haven't heard anybody but myself actually say it because it's so fresh, is that literally 6 weeks ago, my husband left 16 years of ministry in a church to open his own practice, which is only just off the ground, you know, so it's not even that he's back full time yet, but we were able to do it, you know, and I have right over on my desk, I have goals written down. And one of my goals has always been retire my husband. And that doesn't mean from ministry completely. My husband has a heart for the Lord and he wants to minister to people. But the environment he was in wasn't the best for him at this time in his life. And I always thought, I never knew what retiring him meant. He came our way and we realized, wow, we can actually do this right now. We may have to rework that budget, but we were able to take you out, and now you're able to work with married couples, and it's been unbelievable. And today, maybe a little TMI, but I went to the doctor, not the lady doctor, just the regular doctor for the first time in 7 years. Oops, because I just don't have the need to go. And my doctor asked what my husband does, and I said, he just left church ministry, and now he's a Christian counselor. And he said, wow, I bet that's a little less stressful for him. And I loved that someone acknowledged that. And I went, oh, it is. And so anyway, Beachbody enabled that. I mean, if I didn't have this full-time Beachbody ministry, he never would have been able to do that. So anyway, just hearing you say that, Deborah, I was like, oh my gosh, we really did it. And I hope Peace got clients tomorrow. I don't want marriages to break up or anything, but I want people to acknowledge they need therapy. How's that? So yes, my topic tonight is, would you hire you? And 4 tools or agreements that I really love to feed my team in order that they'll be able to build a strong business. And so just a tiny bit about me is that I've been a coach since 2010. I didn't start Beachbody because I had a huge amount of weight to lose, maybe about 20 pounds, but just emotionally, I wasn't really in a good place. We had just moved from Chicago to Pittsburgh during a market that made us lose a lot of money on our home. It was a wonderful reason to move, but the move itself was very difficult. And in that process, I gained about 25 pounds. Emotionally, I just became very scattered. There was just a lot of things going on. And in the midst of it, my husband actually struggles with depression and OCD. And so it felt like, how people say, you want to be an anchor? Well, in our situation, being an anchor meant you were sinking, because an anchor goes to the bottom of the ocean. We had no buoy, just kind of on the top. So it was just a really difficult time. And I reconnected with a friend of mine from college, and she said, oh my gosh, you've got to do this thing called Jolene Extreme with me. I was like, Jolene? What kind of name is Jolene? I purchased it, and within 90 days, I was like, I think I found my new thing. So it really came out of a place of me just needing to be well. The weight loss was great. The muscles were great. But it came out of a place of me needing to take care of me so that I could be the buoy for my family, because my husband was in an anchor place, just kind of sinking. And I knew that I would sink and take the family with me. So that wasn't a really healthy thing. So that's really how I started Beachbody, and then it just kind of took off. So that's just a little bit about me. So yeah, my topic is, would you hire you? And I was just talking to my team about this the other day. Now I realize we're all independent business owners. We're all CEOs of our own business, but what if you had your Beachbody resume in front of you? Like, let's say, and I have to use props because I'm an actor. So let's say you had this resume and you listed maybe even just the activities you do every day as a coach, or the benchmarks that you've hit, or the targets that you've aimed for. Maybe you didn't hit them, but you aimed for them, okay? And those were listed on your resume, and you handed that to someone, okay, who was hiring for CEO, independent owners of Beachbody. Would they hire you from your daily activity and how you treat your business? So little things like, do you keep a list of new people to invite? The pipeline, right? Always keep that water flowing through the pipeline. Are you inviting every day? Are you showing people and giving people value every day? Whether that be on Facebook, social media, whatever. Are you actually giving a service every day? Are you following up? Are you connecting with your challengers? Just things like that. Do you show up for work every day? I think I heard this analogy once, that if you want to get fit, you can't do a couple squats on Monday and then, come back to it on Thursday and do some push-ups. And then maybe on Sunday, you'll do some stretching. Nothing will happen. And I think some people, maybe not the people on this call, because usually the people on the call, they're working every day. But usually those who are frustrated in the business are the ones who are checking in and checking out often. They're punching their card on one day and then they don't come back for 3 days. And then they punch their card and they wonder what they missed and they want to be caught up. And wait a minute, why isn't this jiving for me? So take some time and grab a sheet of paper and just write down those things that you are doing well. That if you were creating a resume, okay, to hire yourself, would you, and be objective, would you hire yourself? It's just a question. You don't even, I mean, you could check it with your success partner or something, but it's just a question to keep you in check. And a lot of times that's misunderstood because then people think working every day, well, you know, a lot of Beachbody coaches can get burned out from working every day. You got to take that day off. You know, you do. You've got to sit down and grab a book like I do and just kind of shut out the world. So I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is, if you were to look at those activities, those very specific activities, would you look at that and go, wow, I want to work with this person? Would you want to work with you? Would you hire you? So the other night on my team call, and I think because I have an improv background, sometimes things just happen. And I know nothing about auto racing, nothing, okay? But for some reason, I couldn't get out of my head the idea of drafting. Okay, so before I embarrass myself, can you raise your hand if you know about auto racing? Oh, just one person. Okay, so you can check me on this. Okay, but one of the gals on my team said I got it right. So anyway, drafting is when there's a car that's in front and a car behind, okay, following very, very closely. It's smart, however, because what that car is doing, and I'm looking down on my notes to make sure that I get it right, is that the car behind benefits from the reduction in air pressure created by the car in front. So they're moving together. It actually makes both of them go faster, okay? But this car that's behind is benefiting from the one up front because it doesn't have to work as hard, okay? But in our businesses, at some point, you have to make a move. You can't stay behind and say, well, I don't have a tool for that, or I don't have a system for that, or I don't know how to do that as well as that person. There's so many things that we get caught up on in terms of tools, right? Things that we need to know before we can make a move. But if we were to simplify everything and look back on that resume, right? What are the things that are so simple that we need to be doing? Inviting every day, following up, being a product of the product, personal development, which I'm going to talk about next. That's going to be our 4 things we're going to talk about. Those are the tools in your toolkit. And even if you feel like all these people are in front and you're just drafting behind, at some point you need to take all the tools that Deborah gives you, or from Diamond Dash, or from corporate. You've got them all. Sometimes I think when someone says, what else can I learn? I'm like, I don't know. I have nothing else to give you. I've given you every single tool. But at some point you have to make your move, okay? And you need to be the one to benefit the car behind you. But the reason we don't make a move is because we're scared, right? It's because we're fearful. It's because what if we hit the wall? What if we blow a tire? What if we get into one of those god-awful crashes? Something could happen if we make that move. Only if we never make the move, we will never know. And we can't wait for a new tool or a new system or a new way of doing things, or I've got to take this training and I've got to take that training. All that stuff is fantastic, but none of that is income producing, okay, until you actually talk to a person and get to know them and their needs and what they desire for themselves, what they value. Then nothing will ever grow in your business. So as you're drafting behind the people who are leading and you're following, at some point, in order to be the person on this resume that you will hire, okay, that you would hire, you need to make a move and you need to take the lead and benefit this person behind you. And know, and watch this analogy, right? Know that you've got a pit crew that will support you. You've got a pit crew with Deborah. You've got a pit crew with your team. They will help you. But until you realize you've got every tool in your toolbox to make this happen, and you make that move and you realize, I have to be this person on this resume who I would hire this person. Until you do it, all you do is lag behind. And at some point, this car is going to take off and you're just going to be there, right? So I was telling my team, I realized that the fear holds you back. I realized that you may look down at the resume and say, I'm not the person that I want to be, and that holds you back. But I think what we tend to do is I think we tend to look for more information or a better way to do things, or she's doing it that way, so I'm going to do it this way too, because I think that's going to work for me. And instead of actually moving forward, we get stuck. We actually do get the flat tire, and then we sit there waiting for movement in our business. And I think we're looking at the wrong tools. You know, we're looking at all of these business things, like how can I be better on Instagram? What's a better script for inviting? You know, always looking for better, better, better. When I think the tools actually are grounded in personal development. So it seems like a really long introduction to get where I'm going, but have any of you read the book, The 4 Agreements? Good. Of course, Deborah raised her hand. Yeah. Okay. So let me tell you my first thought about these 4 agreements. Okay. Because I really believe that while tools and learning all this new stuff to be like the best coach ever are fantastic, until we have a belief in these 4 things, we will never be in a place to truly hire ourselves, because we're always going to be looking for the next best thing. So these are the tools that I really want to chat with you about. So I can't even pronounce the author's name. Well, I guess Don Miguel Ruiz. Okay. And the book, to me, as I started reading it, was really out there. Like, I was like, I don't even get what you're saying, but if I get to these 4 things, I'm going to be okay, but I don't understand anything else that you're explaining to me, seriously. And this is coming from the reader. But as coaches, as people, really, I mean, let's think about our day. Our day can be going splendidly. Our business day can be going splendidly. Maybe we've had some great conversations with people. We've had people who have said, yes, I'm going to order. We've heard that all the time. Yes, I'm going to order. We just are having a fantastic day. Okay. And then, I don't know, maybe like 3 o'clock hits and one exchange happens. And what do? We let that cloud the entire day. Everything that was good up until this point seems to fade. And this one thing, I mean, it could be tiny. It could be as tiny as I went to get in my car yesterday. And my husband had used it last, and there was no gas. And I was on my way to a massage, of all things. I was just so frustrated. So then I had to go to the gas station, and I go to the pump, and I get it going, and that pump is broken. And I have to get in my car, and I have to turn around and get to the next pump. I mean, that could have just blown it for me, because everything was like la-di-da, and then boom, 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 these little irritations, right? So your day could be going well. Little irritations can hit. Big irritations can hit. And we forget everything that was good, okay? So that's where the 4 agreements comes in, because the 4 agreements want to help us to live a life where we're not allowing those things to rob us of joy. Okay? So the first one he said, and I think this is fantastic, especially in the business that we're in, because our business, I say this to my team all the time, our business is not one where someone says, hey, and this is no offense to people in this type of business, but I need some candles to make my house smell good. Do you have any? Yeah, here's a vanilla. Money exchange. Thanks. Goodbye. There's no like emotional connection or any type of conversation that happens with that transaction that puts that customer in a little bit of a vulnerable position. We as coaches are in a position where we're having conversations with people who are in vulnerable positions. They are opening us up to us not only about their physical health. But often, I think you've probably experienced this, when we talk with people, we get to hear a lot more. And we get to know what is really at the heart of some of the physical issues. I know that happens to me all the time. So the first agreement that the author tells us to make sure that we believe and agree to is that we must be impeccable with our word at all times. Impeccable. If we say we're going to email someone back, we email them back. If we say we're going to send you a complimentary packet of Shakeology, we get that in the mail. If we say I'm going to be with you every step of the way as you go through this journey, then you're with them every step of the way. We have to be impeccable with our word, truly. And what happens when we do create that relationship and we're impeccable with our word and we're really watching our challengers to grow? Well, that's part of what I love most about my Beachbody business, is that I can be going through the day and maybe it's fantastic and then maybe there's that little thing that bugs me. But for some reason, whenever I get into those challenge groups and I start talking with the people who are trusting me, they're trusting me with this, that seems to, once again, bring back the joy of the whole day. Because what am I doing? I'm actually giving of myself. And we've got to be impeccable with our word. Okay. The second thing that he says, and I know that we've all heard the term haters gonna hate. We've all had people going, that Shakeology is a scam, and DVD programs, infomercials, is that ground yourself to not take anything personally. That's agreement number 2. That's the next tool in the toolbox I think you need to have out every single day, is to not take anything personally. Because you know that one little comment can taint your day or your week. It could even, dare I say, mess with your purpose. It really can. We can allow that to mess with your purpose. I think one of the best stories I heard on this subject was from John Acuff. I think I have his book somewhere here. He wrote Start. Look, books. Okay, so he wrote Start. He's got a new book out right now. But he talks about this woman who consistently sent emails to Southwest Airlines complaining. Every time she took a flight, something went wrong. And she would send the email and complain. And the customer service people, they would respond to her. And people actually took turns responding to this woman who never had anything nice to say about Southwest Airlines. Okay. Never in their emails did they get defensive, right? And say, well, you're wrong, and take it personally. They just, this is who she was. And they just, oh, well, we're sorry you had a bad experience, blah, blah, blah. Perhaps we can do this. But they just kept it light. When finally they'd had enough and they couldn't take it anymore. And they brought an email to the CEO and they said, you answer her. We cannot do this anymore. And he simply wrote back, dear so-and-so, we'll miss you. Signed, blah, blah, blah. That was it. And a lot of times, don't we seem to fuel those situations by over-responding when we take something personally? We do. And so I know there's a lot of really great graphics on Facebook right now about suddenly people are offended by everything, So my word to you is practice, and you have to practice this. When you have tools, you don't just necessarily know how to use one on day one. You have to practice this tool. Don't take anything personally, okay? Because, and I know it sounds like a cliche, because it's not about you. It's about the person on the other end. It truly is. So the third agreement that I highly suggest you make in your business is to not make assumptions. Assumptions are relationship breakers. Totally. In terms of business, the minute that person says, yeah, I'm going to order, and you go, woohoo, woo, okay. And then 3 days go by, right? And nothing happens. We've all been there. It's like, darn, there go those 2 points, right? I'm like, I thought that was a shoo-in, and it's not there. But even more than thinking of that in terms of business, even with teammates, with other coaches, with challengers, customers, relationships in general, don't make assumptions. Always keep the lines of communication open. If you don't understand something or you think you're perceiving something a certain way, clarify. Let me see if I understand what you meant by that. Did you mean clarify? It really stops a lot of misunderstandings before they get rolling. And I truly think, especially on large teams that are getting larger and larger, I know with mine, I have to be even more careful, especially like when you're reading something on social media and you're like, wow, that seemed a little heavy-handed. Well, it's just typing, and it was probably just a short text or whatever, to just go back and ask that person, can you clarify that for me? Because I'm not sure if I understand. Keep the lines of communication open. Don't make assumptions. Assumptions are dangerous because they're all based upon our perception. They're not based upon a mutual understanding of what the other person is saying. So that's his third agreement. I think that is a great tool to have in your business toolbox. Okay. And then the fourth one, and I think this is fantastic for us, and I think it's fantastic for us to share with our challengers, is just to always do your best. My husband and I have a habit of making a video after every single workout we do together. At first, it was just me talking and him standing in the back like this, and then he started talking, and now we're kind of known around town. Hey, you're the guy in that video. I'm like, no, I'm the girl in that video. Oh, him. Oh, him. Oh, okay. So we make these every day. And today we actually made one where I said, hey, you're going to start this 21-day fix program. And then on day 21, you've done it. Woohoo, you hit your goals. And it's just simply not true for the majority, right? Day 22 is a huge launch pad, right? So what we do as coaches is we've got to encourage people to do their best always. We ask it of our children, right? We need to ask it of ourselves as well. It's very interesting, the things that we ask of our children that we as adults seem to have let just kind of slip away. And always doing our best is one of them. Always doing our best with our teammates, always doing our best with our challengers, always doing our best with our family. Okay. And notice he doesn't say trying to do your best. It's a very Yoda-like thing, and I know Star Wars is coming out again at some point. I'm sure my family will have me take them to that. But it's not trying, it's doing. Always do your best. So let's back up a minute. So if you look at this resume and you go ahead and you write down the things that you are doing, and maybe you write down the things that you think, wow, I'm a little deficient here. And that's okay. I think that's really important to have some self-awareness of where do I need to pick it up a little bit. Because if you look at that list and you think, yeah, you know what, I'm not sure I would hire myself as a Beachbody coach, then you have some work to do. What that means is that you're probably drafting off of other people, and it's time to get out from behind that car, take a risk, and go. But know that as you come across obstacles, you're going to come across people passing you left and right. You're going to come across people blowing tires, and you're going to have to go around. There's things that are going to happen. You need to have some real grounding agreements so that you don't falter. A lot of people, what they do is they plateau, right? And they think, I'm done. I'm tired. I can't do this. And that is because they don't think they have these 4 things, right, that they can fall back on, which is being impeccable with your word at all times. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. They're very simple agreements. And what they do is they create a very mindful roadmap. Okay, look at my analogy with the racing, but that roadmap just goes in a circle. We want you to be going like tons of places, right? But it does create a roadmap, right? And then when you come across maybe less than positive interactions, or that day that was going well, and then there's that hiccup, you're not falling back on your own efforts. You're falling back on some truths, right? Okay, I'm just going to stay impeccable with my word on this. Okay, or I'm not going to assume. Let me check. Let me check on what's going on here. Okay, let me do my best through this. Okay, I'm not going to take this personally. And even if you've got to repeat those things, which I often do to myself, I do. I think you're going to be a much stronger business owner than relying only on what more can I learn? What tool can I get, right? These should be, if you have a toolbox, okay, those tools that we're given, all that training that we're giving, those are fantastic. But on top is where we keep the things we use the most. And these are the 4 things that we should be using the most. And that's both in the professional world and that is in your social world. And that will get you moving forward. So I just find that kind of stuff so important. It's what I want to feed my team. My team is, we're 5 years old, but they are a young team. I've got some great leaders on that team, but they're young in terms of this kind of stuff. And so when I talk to my team, yeah, we do a little bit of training, but we always go back to this stuff. Always. Yeah. I don't know if you're a reader, but if you're not a reader, pick up the 4 agreements. And I know this sounds horrible, but just read the middle of the book. Don't read the beginning and the end. Yay. Because isn't it odd, Deborah?
Yeah.
It is.
I haven't read it for a long time, so I'm going to reread it.
I read it on the beach. I thought that would help. But
yeah.
Just read those 4 agreements and make those your toolbox. Okay?
Yeah. I think what you said is right in that so much of what I've learned at the Beachbody Coach has helped to make me be a better person. And I think also in the process, I've become a better business person. I mean, and I was in corporate America for 20 years, and I feel like I am much better with business and relationships and, than I was then. But, the way I've grown as a person, my compassion, my empathy, my ability to listen, my ability to, I think, act differently than what my inclinations are, being an introvert and all that. I mean, it's just so vast, and it helps you, it helps with your kids and your spouse and your friendships. And I still remember Courtney Blanco, if you're listening to this, she said to me, whatever happens with this business, I have already become a better person.
That's awesome.
Right. And that's exactly what personal development does for you. And that's why I love this company. I mean, there's so much about what Carl Deichler and all the leaders do that it's about making us be better people.
Right.
I mean, that's just
absolutely
amazing.
Yeah.
Now,
and
go ahead.
I've come from a place of, just thinking of Beachbody as fitness and nutrition to really sitting down with somebody and her saying, I'm going through a divorce and it's taking over everything in my life. And me going, I know, tell me more about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm now studying to be a wellness coach. I want to be able to sit and have someone be able to chat it out.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I know if anybody has questions, you can type them in the chat and I'll read them. But what you said is so spot on about, and this goes exactly to, I just posted right before we got on here about, if there's anybody that has never really got their business off the ground, let's get started. And a lot of coaches, and I kind of called some out, that are actually working the business. They raised their hand in the thread, and I was like, no, you don't apply. This isn't for you, And I think you're right that we're always, even myself, I mean, we see it in the leader walls. Everybody's always looking for that next new tool. What's that new tool? Oh, the shiny object over here and the shiny object over there.
And then you feel deficient.
I'm like,
oh, I'm not doing that. Why aren't I doing that?
Yeah. And I have definitely been at a spot with some of my coaches when, just kind of like what you said, when they're telling me, I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to do next. And, I've given them all I've got. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I got nothing. I got nothing else. I've literally, I've opened up my closet and I've let you wear every single dress and pair of shoes and underwear and workout clothes that I have nothing else. And then it has to go back to you, to the coach. And oftentimes now when I have coaches in that situation where they're like, I just, go back to your personal development. What are you reading? And a lot of times it's nothing.
Yeah. So,
and I know you're on a 52-book challenge this year, right?
I am.
You're like probably going to read 152.
I'm on book 42.
Fun. I
don't know.
I did this year because I saw Scotty Hobbs did it and I thought it was really cool. And, I was a little lax on my personal development last year. I mean, I didn't read as many, I wasn't reading every day and not doing, like I need to get into this habit. It's a discipline. Who am I to think that I can be a top coach and not do these?
Right.
And so I set myself that challenge and I love it. I love it. What I love most about it is I'm reading more from a sense of wanting of joy. And I have read a few nonfiction or a few fiction, but I'm mostly reading nonfiction. That was my challenge. And I'm reading with just the wanting to just soak it in. As opposed to, oh my gosh, I need to take notes and I gotta remember that. And because that's what kind of holds me up, let perfection be the enemy of the good. And so now I'm just reading and I'm just letting it seep into me. Some things, I'll remember, some things I won't, but it's like vitamins, just nourishing my soul.
If you guys want a very simple book that you can seriously read on a Saturday afternoon from start to finish, read The Energy Bus.
Oh, I listened to that on audio.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is the simplest book ever. It makes me want to read all of his books.
Me too.
Because he takes the lesson and wraps it into a story. Yeah. But again, it's like a simple story. I mean, it almost reads like a kid's book. You could read it to your kids.
I love those parables. Now, have you read The Go-Giver? You've read The Go-Giver.
I have not read The Go-Giver.
Oh my gosh. That's another one of those. Okay, so now that's one to go on your list.
Okay.
That was another one that is told in a parable. And I love The Dream Manager by Matthew Kelly.
Okay.
I don't know if you've read that. That was really good. So I like the ones told in parables, because it's really it goes really fast. So, gosh, we've just given you lots of books to read.
We have given you lots of books to read.
Now let's see if anybody has any more questions. Okay, they were just wanting to verify the 4. I really appreciate you, Jolene, diving us into personal development, because I will admit that a lot of times when we get on these calls, we do skills building. We do training on a topic, and we don't do enough of just building, ourselves as people. And that's really what this is all about. It's relationships.
Most definitely. Yeah. And the tools will change.
Yeah.
Tools are going to change,
Exactly.
I mean, 1 minute there's this in the online office and the next minute it looks like this. I mean, things are going to change. So you've got to have some sort of foundation, and that can't come from some outward tool. It just
So I really think that I think a good activity for everyone to do would be to do the resume. And don't worry about formatting. That's what I would do. I would be worried. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get the formatting. That's why. Yeah. So just make 2 columns. What am I doing? What are the things that I'm doing that I know are, qualities or qualifications of a good coach, that would something this person would need to do this job well. I'm doing these things. I do these things. And then over here, this is like the column of the job qualities that's in the ad that says you need to be doing these things. And, I'm not really that great at that. Or I could really use work on that. Or, I don't do that enough. Put those in a separate column. And then that's something for us to talk about. That's something for us, for your sponsor, for us in, even in Team Dare to Dream to talk about. Because that's really what it boils down to when coaches tell me, I just don't know. I don't know. I'm doing all this and I don't know what else. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing else. Well, I can't, unless we can look at ourselves in the mirror.
Yep.
And you can do it. I can't look at you in the mirror. You got to look at yourself.
No, it's Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror, you know? And I mean, if you were to write up the job description of a coach, okay, and then think, I'm going to apply for that. I mean, like really play this up. I mean, you could do a whole play, you know, but I mean, you really, here's a job description. Here's my resume. Oh, wow. Yeah. Does that line up?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody, I don't see any other questions in the chat, but thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad we have it recorded, and I'll send you the recording too, so you can.
And maybe we could take that picture at leadership.
We definitely will. Of course, we'll do a selfie.
It's awesome.
In our Arabian Nights costume. Not. Okay.
I'm afraid that's gonna go
really badly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.